Welcome to the podcast, Conversation with Jeff Bucknam. Dr. Jeff Bucknam is the lead teaching pastor at Harvest Bible Chapel, and I'm the host of this podcast, Tommy Kreitz. Welcome back. New year, new season. It is season 2, Pastor Jeff.
It is.
That's the sequel.
It is.
The sequel to the first.
That's usually what the second is, yes.
Yes. Will it be better?
Well, there's not a lot of sequels that are better than the original.
I feel like we should.
Few.
Yeah, we should maybe go through a couple of those right now. Maybe if you're listening right now or watching right now, first off, if you're watching, welcome. Hi. It's good to see you or you see us. Like and subscribe on our YouTube page. Like to know that you're watching. And I don't know, is there like a podcast listening equivalent to that?
No.
Virtual high five.
No, I think you can subscribe to the podcast. Of course you can.
Is that a thing? Sherry's shaking her head. Yep, you could do it.
Yeah. So the best sequel ever.
So my mind is pretty made up on this because not only do I think it's the best sequel ever, it's actually my favorite movie of all time as well. My favorite movie is a sequel. Which is The Empire Strikes Back.
You know, okay.
It is my favorite movie. Here's why. It started when I was a young man. I grew up, my grandmother actually introduced me to Star Wars.
I thought the third one was better.
See, a lot of people think that.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them. Here's why, though, in the beginning. It shifted over time. In the beginning, the snow trooper from the Hoth, you know what I'm talking about? The Battle of Hoth, the snow planet.
Yeah.
That snow trooper, when I was a young man, it blew my mind. There was like a different type, and like he looked so cool, and they had like a tripod gun, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Later on, though, as I grew up and I started appreciating the bridge in the story, I liked that a lot. So, favorite movie.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did. I actually did.
So it wasn't just the
movement.
little character guys.
It wasn't just
the
little
play with you.
It started there, but it morphed.
I always thought that the next 3 of those, the one with Anakin and stuff, they were the best ones. Don't you think that they were the best sequels?
I could not disagree with you more. Now, the only thing that would
you're such a Star Wars geek. That's ridiculous because they what was so bad about it?
I liked them. So I'm not a prequel.
You have a
hater.
Jar Jar Binks doll in your room.
I do not.
Misha loves it. That was good.
Yeah, it was good. That was super accurate. I like the prequels. I don't love Jar Jar, but I do like the prequels. I do not like the sequels though.
Hey, the guy who is in the prequels, those ones,
Hayden Christensen,
Anakin,
that one.
Does he act anwe're else?
He did a couple other movies and then kind of fell off.
He was awful.
Yeah, he did well, the writing didn't help.
So we're blaming the writing.
Well,
okay.
George.
Yeah, sure.
A little, Mr. Lucas. I think like he was in one other movie like called Awake. Is that right? Was that the name of it? He was like awake during the surgery.
That was the movie?
That was it. A lot of internal monologue.
I wonder what would happen if you were awake during your surgery.
Yeah, and like so not a lot of face acting, which, it
was probably good.
Probably good for
doesn't do that very well.
Tough. This has become a pile on Hayden Christensen.
I think that Toy Story 2 is better than Toy Story 1.
Wow, yeah, that's
I do. Yeah. I also Terminator 2 is better than Terminator 1.
Yes. Because Terminator 1 was, what was that even about?
It was in the 1980s, and it was about him coming back, Arnold Schwarzenegger coming back.
Yeah.
But it just didn't
He was the bad guy in that one, though, right?
Yeah, he was the bad guy, and that was what was so clever about Terminator 2.
He came back as the good guy.
And now there's like Terminator 3 and Terminator 12.
There's like Terminator 21.
Was Fast and Furious 2 better than Fast and Furious 1? Does anybody even know what Fast and Furious 2 was?
It's all a blur. There's so many of them now.
Was Saw 2 better than Saw 1?
Yeah, there's a lot of those too. Ooh, yuck. I haven't seen one of those in
I
wouldn't
recommend ever seeing any of those movies.
Don't put your mind through that.
Usually though the sequel is a bit of a letdown. Frozen 2 was a letdown.
Yeah,
right.
That's tough. Frozen 1 had way better songs.
All the Matrix. Well, did
you see the
follow-ups are terrible. They're all bad.
And the newest one has fallen the farthest.
I'm gonna go watch that soon because
I'm so sorry. My condolences, our condolences are with you as you watch it. Yeah.
Is Neo in it, though?
Is he in it? Spider-Man 2. Is that better than Spider-Man 1? Oh, Dr. Octavius was in that one. That's a pretty good one. Original, the Sam Raimi one.
All right.
So essentially,
you can accomplish in the second season.
We shall be the Toy Story 2s.
Yeah, although it's not off to a good start. This is no Hoth that we're on here.
Yeah, this is we no have not no snort.
It's not open. It's not opened up with the scene.
I don't know.
Ice Planet.
I feel like the last season we started off interviewing me, so it's only an upward angle from this point. So, new year.
It is
new season.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
New us. Let's go.
Let's go.
And we're going to be starting with a fantastic conversation today with Pastor John Bell, who is the campus pastor of our Aurora campus, and he has a story. And that's why we have these conversations, is because we know that God has given everyone a story, and we can't wait to hear how God has worked in the life of Pastor John Bell, and you guys are going to have a conversation about that. So let's get into it.
Hi, this is Jeff Bucknam, and I am here with my friend John Bell. John is the campus pastor of our Aurora campus at Harvest Bible Chapel in Chicagoland. How long have you lived in Chicagoland, John? Is this your hometown?
This is not my hometown. My wife and I, we've lived here for 4.5 years. We moved here in summer of 17.
Okay. Why did you move here in summer 17?
For the youth pastor position at the Aurora campus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A youth pastor. That's what you wanted to be? Was that what you wanted to be when you were a little guy? Did you think to yourself, someday I'm going to feed everybody pizza?
I did not. Pizza does sound good. That happens to be one of my favorite foods. But I had no idea that was what the Lord would have for me. So
okay. Where are you from then? What's John Bell's hometown?
So I was born in South Korea. My hometown is South Nashville, Tennessee, Franklin, Tennessee.
Okay.
And
I was through Franklin, Tennessee just a few days ago.
Really?
I want you to know that. I drove through Franklin, Tennessee, and I liked Tennessee. I thought it was nice. It was kind of rolling green hills, and I wasn't expecting that. I always thought, because people in the West Coast, like us, we think the rest of the country is just flat. Basically, other than the Rockies. Yeah. So when I come across like rolling green, pretty hills and stuff, I was like, oh, okay, I can see why people are moving to Nashville. There's a lot of people moving to Nashville these days.
It's a hip place to live. It wasn't always like that.
Why?
But, it's a country music scene that's blown up so big, and the Christian artistry scene is huge there now. A lot of labels are down there. And
in Nashville,
especially Franklin, where I'm from.
Okay.
A lot of labels down there. Yeah.
So that's like the center of Christian music.
I'd say it's one of them for sure.
Excuse me.
Were you going down 65? Is that why you stopped? Because that's a frequent stop for a lot of people.
Yeah, yes, but I didn't stop in Franklin. I just noticed that it was there. And I think I've known in the past that you were from Franklin, Tennessee. How did you get from South Korea to Franklin, Tennessee? And don't say by plane.
By plane. So I'm adopted. I was actually adopted. I was born in South Korea to a teenage young lady.
Do you know her now?
I don't know my biological parents.
Okay.
From the information that we do know, we think she was around 15 or 16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so young, yeah.
Have you ever been interested in finding out?
I was very curious in college.
Okay.
And tried to do a search, and they didn't leave much information. They basically had me in a small clinic and didn't leave any information.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like needle in the haystack if you were to find that out, or it's not even accessible really.
Totally. Yeah. It'd be very hard pressed for me to find information.
Okay.
I was really curious in college. So I was born in South Korea in June. And then my parents now, my adopted parents, they were trying to have kids for about a decade and they were unable. And so they decided to go in the route of adoption. So my dad's dad, my grandfather, was in the Korean War, and after he got out of the Korean War, he had a huge heart and for the war devastation that went on.
Yeah.
and he did like a big clothing drive and filled up these 18-wheeler trucks, like dozens of them in the United States, back in Nashville, Tennessee, and then he shipped them over to South Korea. So when my parents weren't able to have kids, they're like, "What's the one place that we'd adopt from?" And
Korea.
South Korea, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you been back to South Korea ever?
We haven't. My brother and I, so my brother's also adopted.
You're like the least Korean anywhere.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. 100%. So we haven't been back yet. My brother's also adopted. He's younger. He's 2.5 years younger than I am.
Okay.
And
From Korea as well.
from Korea as well. And
Okay.
we're kind of waiting until we're all on board, and then maybe we'll make plans to go back one day as a family.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
My dream-
Not
my-
that you'd remember any of it, but it would
Right.
be neat to be kind of from your ancestral home and all that.
Right. Because I came to the United States October 31st. So like 5 months after I was born.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so super early.
So you're a Southerner.
I'm a
Do you
Southerner.
call, that's what you call a Southerner? Somebody from Nashville, Tennessee? Like Tennessee's the South.
Totally the South.
Well, I was having a debate about this when I was driving through there. We were trying to figure out where does the South end? And I think we decided that we think that most of the South, that language, comes from the Civil War. So if you're like, is Virginia in the South?
Virginia's the South.
Okay.
No,
West Virginia in the South?
no.
See,
I would
that's
say
weird
no.
to me.
I would say no.
Tennessee's in the South.
For sure.
Kentucky.
Kentucky. Yeah.
Okay. Missouri?
Yeah, ish. So there's a difference. I think like Tennessee's the South, but
South
then you
Dakota?
get like
Is that in the
deep
South?
South. No, they just use the word South.
Oh, come on.
I know. They stole it. I would say like there's a difference between the South. Like we would differentiate between Kentucky, Tennessee South, but then you have like deep Mississippi,
Okay, so that's different
deep
South.
Georgia South. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you guys think those people are a little weird, huh?
A little weird, a little
But you're the real thing.
right, real thing. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So you're Tennessean,
I'm a Tennessean.
born and bred. So you not born and bred, just bred. So you grew up in a family with you're a younger brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have parents, and it sounds like a Christian family.
Totally. My parents are some of the most godly people I've ever met in my life. So
What'd your dad do? What was his job?
my dad was in insurance. He's retired now. He was in insurance.
What kind of insurance?
City claims. He worked with all the cities in Tennessee except for Nashville,
Oh,
and worked closely with police officers. And
okay. Did you ever want to go into insurance?
no,
Why not?
not for me.
Well, what about it's not for you?
I didn't want to sit at a desk all day.
You didn't want to make cold calls? That would be the hardest thing, don't you think, for an insurance agent? Because you got to drum up business and you got to call people
Right.
on the phone. Hey, this is John.
Right.
Do you need insurance?
Right. My dad his job was more like sending people out to do
Oh, he was more important than that. He
a
was
little,
yeah. Okay.
I don't know about more. He would never say
Yeah.
more important, but
Okay.
yeah.
That's good. And your mom?
My mom was a pharmacist
Oh, wow.
for a long time, but then she retired from that and in her 40s, and then got back into children's ministry.
Okay. Why do you not have an accent?
I don't know. People ask me that all the time. They're like, "You're from the South?"
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, "We
Well,
don't hear the
I've talked to-
drawl."
I've talked to other people from Tennessee, and they say that kind of thing, and you don't sound like that at all. In fact, you sound kind of like you're from California.
Really?
Like if I met you, I'd be like, oh, you're kind of West Coasty.
Because I don't think I sound like I'm from the Midwest either. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
No, yeah, but you're not a Midwesterner.
No.
But you grew up in that town. Did you grow up playing sports, or were you a musician? Like, what did you like to do when you were a kid?
Yes, kind of both. So my brother and I were really active in sports. We just like to play outside all the time. So we played baseball, played basketball.
What position you play in baseball?
I played infield, but I couldn't hit very well, man.
Why
So
not?
when it got faster, I just couldn't keep up.
Yeah,
And then, you know baseball.
I do. I stopped playing baseball when I got pegged with a pitch once, and I said, I'm done with this.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way. Why would in the world would I stand in front of somebody who wants to throw that hard? So my son, even now, he throws really hard. He's like, whenever I give him grief, he's like, "You want to stand in against me? You want to stand in against me?" And I always tell him, "Yeah, dude, I'd take you deep. You don't want that. Seriously, you want me to hit you? Like, I'd never let you hear the end of it." but there's no way I would ever stand in against him. There's no way.
We throws really hard.
Yeah, like
90s.
90s miles at 95 mile an hour.
Oh, no
It's
chance.
like ridiculous. There's no way I'm going to do that.
No. So I decided to be a pitcher.
Oh,
Yeah.
Could you throw hard?
No.
No.
Not 90s, not touch 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you do that right now if we
No chance. I don't have an arm. I go play dodgeball with our students for like 2 seconds, and my arm's about to fall off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I quit baseball. I was pitching in a game, and ever seen that movie Rookie of the Year?
I do.
When
yeah,
when that old guy, I forget his name, when he like throws and he throws his arms out and he had to.
That was you?
That felt like it. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I didn't hear a rip or
But
tear.
you were like,
I was
this
like,
is no
I'm
more.
done. I'm done. Yeah.
Wow. I played in high school then.
No, I played early in elementary, and then a few years in middle school. Got sick of it. I started running. Played tennis with some of my buddies.
Is that tennis your big game?
No, it just
Running.
felt fun. Running. I love running. Yeah, and that's weird to a lot of
Sorry,
people.
what?
I love running. Yeah.
Did you have to learn to love running?
No.
What do you mean? You just started running one day and you were like, this is great.
Yeah. No one understands. Some people think that people love running because of the endorphins.
Yeah.
Which I think is true, but I truly do.
So it's a drug. It's kind of a drug addiction for you.
For some, yeah.
Yeah. They have edibles that give you the same. Anyway, I'm kidding. I don't know that, and I wouldn't know that. So, John, have you ever run a marathon?
I've run a few, yeah.
Whoa. A few.
Like
So list off the marathons
6.
that you've run.
I've run 6. I've ran 2 in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
Sorry.
So it's pronounced Louisville.
Louisville.
No, it's pronounced Louisville.
Louisville. Okay. Yeah, whatever you say, brother.
I had a friend who got mad at me because I kept calling you Louisville. No, Louisville. Okay.
People from Louisville hate when people call it Louisville.
I know they do.
So it's fun to say Louisville
Yeah, I
to
know.
them.
Just to tick them off, troll them. But anyway, you have six of them. You have 2 in Louisville, Kentucky.
I've attempted 3 in Louisville, only completed 2.
Whoa. You attempted 3?
Yeah.
What happened on the third one?
Oh, it was bad news.
Well, what happened?
I cramped up bad.
At what mile?
15.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was early.
Did you just not eat enough of those little gel things, or?
I don't know. That could have been it.
Was it a hot day?
No, it was like 60.
Wow, so that kind of threw you off.
It did.
Wow.
And then, yeah, so I've attempted 8 and it completed 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's like
Yeah.
LeBron. He's not as good as you.
I don't know about that.
He's like 3 out of 8.
Jordan 6 for 6.
Yeah, he was. So what's your best time?
2 hours and
No.
47 minutes.
You can run. Like, you can legitimately run.
It's an okay time. It's a good time.
What do you mean it's okay time? Most of the people are listening right now thinking, if you gave me half a day to run 26 miles, I wouldn't be able to do it. But 2 hours, that's pretty impressive.
It's respectable, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do your legs feel after you're done?
They're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to walk.
I was in New York with a friend of mine. We went to watch him run the New York Marathon. And afterwards, of course, we're in New York. He wants to go and see the sights and stuff. So we went out and started looking at the sights. And it was the funniest thing watching that guy go down the stairs after he'd done that. Like, it was ridiculous. He couldn't even, his legs just wouldn't work.
Oh, it's so true. After each marathon, if someone were to just do this to me,
It would do what?
I'd fall down.
Oh, just push you with a finger?
Yeah, my wife likes to do that. She likes to push me a little bit. Can you do it? Can you stand? Can you stand? And sitting down's the worst. Yeah,
That's
it's
good.
painful.
So you ran, did you run in high school then? Or was that
I ran a few years in high school, cross country,
not track?
not track.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, this is okay. And then I was like, well, I want to play tennis. More fun. And then I didn't run till I'm 36 now. I didn't revisit running until I was 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
You had musician too, though.
Yeah.
What do you play?
I played drums and guitar.
I've never heard you play drums.
I don't know if you'd want to now.
Why?
Pretty rusty.
I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between rusty drums and not rusty drums. Isn't that terrible? I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah.
But guitar as well?
Guitar a little bit, yeah.
Wow. Did you like grow up playing in a band or anything?
I was a youth group worship
Oh yeah.
kid, yeah. So like I grew up in going to youth group, and there was a couple guys that I really look up to that were older than me, and they played drums and guitar. I'm like, I want to be like them.
Wow.
I want to serve the Lord. And so my mom and dad got me a drum set when I was in 5th grade and took lessons, and And then I just played at worship, played at camp, played at youth group, and
Wow.
it was really fun.
So you kind of are you a camp guitarist then? You got the 5 chords and you just you play them all the time.
Like G, C, E minor,
Yeah.
D. Yeah, for sure.
Do you know who Phil Collins is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he sings while he's at the drums. You do that
With the Garth Brooks
you're a
microphone.
drum singer.
I don't know if you want that. Only the Lord likes my singing.
One of my favorite things is when you see a drummer who's singing.
I
You're
know.
like, wait a minute, that's not right.
Yeah, it's
Kevin Malone on The Office is a singing drummer.
yes.
So have you never been in a band though? Not
No.
like an official band named Titus or
No.
like Black Stallion.
Never on that level.
Okay.
No interest.
Okay.
Just I
What's your
honestly
favorite kind of music?
I love worship music.
Okay.
'Cause, obviously because it's to the Lord and truth about Him. But I just love it. I honestly just need to fill my mind with good things. So I
Okay.
listen to worship music. But I like other music too. Like I like rock and
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you grew up was the church that you grew up in really, I'm sorry, I'm just thinking, okay, Franklin, Tennessee, and now I'm connecting all of this with my perception of what church in the South would have looked like growing up in the 90s?
yeah, 90s, early
Okay.
2000s, yeah.
Well, I know. Was it really conservative and really like you weren't allowed to, you didn't listen to regular rock music, or was it, I don't know, what kind of church was it?
Totally. Very conservative. Very conservative. Like when I was younger, we would dress up going to church, like tie and tuck in the shirt and
Really?
jacket. Yeah.
You wore a jacket,
Sometimes.
like even from a little guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And then for sure, like all music that wasn't,
Is it like Southern Baptist Church?
it was a Christian church, Church of Christ.
Okay.
Yeah. And even the school, the private school I went to was very conservative too. So it felt like I was going to church.
So you were kind of inundated with in the Christian world.
Totally.
All right. Best Christian band you ever heard?
Oh, DC Talk.
Ah,
Audio Adrenaline. Audio Adrenaline went to my church.
they did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's must be a big church.
It wasn't.
Really? They
Maybe.
just few dudes. I don't even know. I don't even know if I've ever heard an Audio Adrenaline song.
Oh,
I know the name of the band.
Big House.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was singing that to my kid the other day just because I was goofing around.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
So, wow, but you like church?
I do.
Like when you were a kid, there
Loved
was
it.
never a point where you were like, man, when I get out of here, I'm done with this.
No.
No? Your
No.
brother, same thing?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. For the most part. We love church. We grew up going to church, and
Did you go to Christian college?
I did.
So Christian everything all the way through.
Everything.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love church. Love VBS back in the day.
What's VBS?
Vacation Bible School.
Okay. What did you do for VBS?
So it was geared towards elementary kids, and you would go at our church. We'd show up in the morning, do some arts and crafts, worship the Lord with
You like going VBS, yeah.
Yeah. And
Did you end up working at it at some point, like leading it and things?
No, I
Did
didn't.
you ever? When did you get interested in ministry?
Not till my senior year of high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
What made you interested?
I was at a student conference, and they did a gospel call, and I had given my life to the Lord in middle school, but my youth pastor.
You're
was-
from the South, so you have to do it like 35 times before it actually clicks. You know that, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Every camp rededication.
Yeah, you gotta.
throw something in the fire.
Yeah, you gotta keep pushing it.
Do you do?
Eventually, it works.
It works finally. Something will click. So
Throw something in the fire.
you remember that?
That is the greatest Christian subculture thing ever. I actually think when we stand before God, he's gonna say, "But did you throw anything in a fire at one point?" You're gonna be like, "Yeah, okay, you can come in."
Can I make a confession about throwing stuff in the fire?
Yeah. Did you never throw anything in the fire?
I did, but like
Did you go back later and get it?
I wish that I had to throw away some good music.
What?
that I loved.
Whoa! You were throwing music into the fire.
Like there was some gospel calls where we would come back. So it'd be like, what you're listening to, what you're filling your mind with. You need to fill your mind with God's word, and you need to give up all music that's not Christian music. Being at a
What
conference.
camp were
And
you
then
going to?
The next week, we were to bring those CDs or tapes and throw them in the fire.
Okay, I want to know.
It was so hard.
What did you throw in the fire?
Oh gosh,
Come on. Def Leppard. Just kidding.
close. Metallica, the Black Album.
Oh yeah.
It's some hip hop. They just go way back, like Puff Daddy and the Family, Master P, Usher,
Oh, that Usher.
Incubus, Hoobastank.
Wow.
I know.
That's a lot of music.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was
you-
like,
That's kind of wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing that you would go and you guys would do that.
yeah.
So grew up in a conservative church, like being in church all the time. It sounds like were your parents in
yeah.
church like on Wednesdays and Thursdays and
Totally. It felt like there wasn't one night where we weren't in church.
okay.
We just, they'd have Bible studies or
So
koinonia groups.
When it came to, of course, koinonia groups. There you go.
Throwback.
If you throw, well, yeah, if it's Greek, you know it's good. So when you were choosing to go to college, then it would have been a pretty simple decision for you. I would imagine you would have been around a bunch of peers who were like, "Well, I'm going to go to a Christian college."
Yeah. I mean, my parents didn't have to twist my arm too much.
Where did you go?
I went to, it's called Johnson University in Knoxville, Tennessee, but then it was called Johnson Bible College.
Okay.
And I was at the youth conference.
Yeah.
And they made a call for anybody that thought about they want to go to ministry or maybe the Lord's leading them.
Right.
And I didn't stand up. And my youth pastor slapped me on the leg and said, "You better stand up." I'm like, "I don't know." So I stood up because, to please my youth pastor. I loved him a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, "I'll just stand up, whatever." And then 2 months later, I just knew that I needed to go and try it out.
Yeah.
At least get some biblical teaching under my belt.
Yeah.
So I went, and there's a whole story, but I felt more comfortable going because my small group leader, who was, I think he's 7 years older than I am, was deciding to go back to college to be in ministry. So he's like, "Hey, go with me. Be my roommate." I'm like, "Okay." So we went together.
So Johnson Bible College.
Yeah.
And what did you study? What did you study there?
I studied Bible, preaching, and student ministry.
Thought you were going to stop at Bible. I studied Bible. Oh, at the Bible college. Okay.
You could everybody majored at this college in Bible.
I bet.
And then you can double
Okay.
major.
Did you find your wife there?
I did not.
Why not? Oh, come on.
I know you're supposed to.
Yeah, you
I
know,
got
ring
it.
by spring, your money back.
Yeah. There's this thing at our college that if you walked a girl around this circle,
That was like asking her to marry you.
yeah. So you never did it unless you're like, this was the one.
This was the one.
Yeah.
Did you ever make it around the circle?
No.
Did you ever make it halfway around the circle?
No, I had a lot of growing up to do in college.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So I didn't have time for that.
Good. But was it 4 years?
I went 5. I did the victory lap.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
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 So you finished, you got your degree, it was in Bible, all that kind of stuff. You come out and you're ready to be involved in ministry.
Totally.
But youth ministry,
Yeah.
that was specifically what you wanted to do.
I did not know that going into college, but while in college, I really found God put in me a love for his word and students. I worked at this camp, a summer Christian camp for 3 summers in Indiana.
Okay.
And
Is it one that people would know?
No, only people in Indiana.
Okay. What's it called?
It's called Camp Iliana.
Camp what?
Iliana.
Iliana.
Yeah, it's short for Indiana, Illinois. They just combine the word.
I used to work at a camp called Sambika, Sammamish Bible Camp. That's how they named it. Dude, what was going on in the minds of these people when they came up with names and stuff?
I don't know.
Well, we'll just take the first few letters of each word and make it into whatever.
Sounds great.
Sambika. Yeah.
So I worked there, and then I really developed just a love for students and for them to know God's word and disciple them. So I'd go back to college each year, and I got involved in a church, and then I graduated with my degree in students and immediately wanted to be in a church,
Okay.
work in a church with student ministry, yeah.
So when was this? What year was it that you graduated?
2009.
Okay. So 2009 rolls around, you graduate.
Mhm.
Where do you work?
I went to a church in Kentucky called Owensboro Christian Church.
Owensburg Christian Church.
Owensboro.
Oh, Owensboro.
Yeah, my fault.
Okay.
Owensboro.
Did you like it?
Loved it. Thought we'd live there for the rest of for a long time, maybe the rest of
Oh,
our
wait.
lives.
Who's we?
Melissa, my wife.
Okay. Where'd you meet her? Because it wasn't in Bible college.
No, I didn't meet her till 6 years
Was she
later.
standing next to you at the burning of the Metallica, or
No.
throwing in her salt and pepper?
Salt and pepper. That's amazing. That's a throwback.
Yeah.
No, I actually didn't meet Melissa till 6.5 years later when I was at Owensboro Christian Church.
Okay.
So I had 6.5 years of being single.
Okay, so you're single. You're single youth pastor.
Yeah,
That is an uncommon thing.
it is.
Because a lot of people, when they want to hire a youth pastor, they're like, well, they better be married, because you start thinking about all that, like, who, it's going to be weird if they end up dating somebody or whatever.
Totally.
So you were a youth pastor, most eligible bachelor in the church, I would imagine.
Felt like that.
Were people always trying to hook you up with some, I have a daughter and she's lovely.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So was Melissa the first person that they tried to connect you with, or is she later down the list?
No one connected us. So there was plenty of people trying to connect me with their granddaughter or daughter or friend's friend or whatever.
Okay.
But no one connected.
What was that like, by the way? I'm assuming that you'd get sick, obviously sick of it a little bit, or were you open to it when somebody would say that? You'd be like, yeah, okay.
In my mind, I felt just super called to student ministry. So in a lot of ways, I get their heart. They wanted me to find someone that loved the Lord.
Yeah.
But it got kind of a little bit much,
Yeah.
And then again, like, I didn't want to, it couldn't be a waste of my time because I was just so focused on what the Lord wanted me to do.
Yeah.
And so I remember hearing a sermon at the church I went to in college, and he talked about singleness. And it was like a good message for me to hear going into ministry.
Yeah.
To maximize your time. Like, it's a gift, as Paul says in 1 Corinthians 7. So I wanted to devote all my time I could to the Lord and to the students.
We said it's a gift to be cherished and not a burden to carry.
Exactly. It's not a disease.
Yeah.
No.
By no means.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming then, did the Melissa just sort of show up out of nowhere, or you weren't expecting it at all, and you're committing yourself to ministry and that kind of thing, and then she just sort of, where'd you meet her?
Yeah. It was very unexpected. I was very early on talking with a girl that we possibly might date, and then that ended. And then the next week I met Melissa. She had just moved to the area. She's an English teacher.
Okay.
And her mom were trying to find a church, and I happened to be preaching that Sunday morning. And she wanted more information, so she came out to the lobby, and we met. But the funny thing is, I don't remember meeting her because I think I got food poisoning. So in between we had 4 services. In between each service, I was yakking.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't actually.
You kept going.
I kept going. I stayed in the bathroom with a
That is impressive.
I don't remember it. I was so sick.
I wonder if anyone else does. That's probably people's story. They probably have a story about their yakking pastor.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's when we first met.
Okay, you're feeling sick.
Yeah.
You meet her between things, and she remembers it, but you don't remember it very well.
I don't. And
So-
she's gracious. She's like, I get it.
Yeah. Did she get involved in the church then? And that's how you got to know her?
She did. Yeah. So
At what point did you start thinking, okay, she's somebody I'm interested in? Was it kind of right away?
when I saw her involvement, we weren't even friends, but long story short, she started volunteering in the high school ministry while I was a high school pastor.
Oh.
And she was a small group leader, and I just saw her love for the Lord and love for his people. And so how we got started was a text message. It's a very good story.
Okay. Where you go?
So I was texting her just honestly about just student stuff, like, how's your experience? How can I serve and care for you? And I asked her.
Were those your actual words?
Something like that.
How can I serve and care for you? ... Okay.
It was genuinely, I didn't want to freak her out, but, so it's honestly about ministry. And then, so I asked her like 4 questions, and then she shot me back 4 answers to those questions, and then she added a 5th, and it said, is there any good ice cream places in Owensboro?
Oh, there's a softball.
Thank you.
Did she just lob that one right up to you?
That's what I felt.
Did you say to her, yeah, there's a great place down there. Here's the map. No. You said, no, I'll show you one.
I thought she was, like you said, I thought she was giving me a door to ask her out.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Of course she was.
So at the time, I just got out of not a relationship, but, I was just like, you know what? Again, this girl's going to have to impress me to for me to give her any time. So I know it sounds very prideful, but I was just so focused. Anyway,
You're like The Bachelor, on the show.
yeah, I've never watched it.
Okay.
So I thought about it for a week, and I talked to one of my best friends about it, and he's like, "Yeah, man, just what's one date gonna hurt? You'll know." So I asked her out. I thought I
text message.
I thought I asked her out on the text message.
Oh, you thought you did?
So she thought I was just asking her to go out so I can get to know her on like a ministry basis.
Oh, yeah.
So she said yes. So we go out to eat, and I'm like, this is awesome. Like, she said yes to this date, and it's going so well. Like, we're getting to know each other.
She didn't know
she goes, why are you opening the door for me? I'm like, well, like, why are you paying for our food? I'm like, well, that's what you do. So we hang out for like 3 hours. I think it's going amazing. She thinks it's going amazing because she's just getting to know me. So we're pulling back in. I'm dropping her off at church. She lived like an hour away at the time. And I said, well, this is really fun. I'd love to hang out with you more. She goes, what? I said, I'd love to hang out with you more. She goes, this was a date? I said, 100% it was a date. She goes, oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Does she know you're married?
So I said, well, what do you want to do from here? Like,
Then all of a sudden, yeah, well, that was awkward,
yeah.
but let's assume.
Yeah. So I was like, what do you want to do? She's like, well, let's go out again. I said, okay.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, we got married.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was there what was the difference between the first one and the second one then? Did she show up a little bit more prepared?
Yeah.
Did she put on sorry, my mind is like racing with Office episodes. Oh wait, date Mike. I've got to like, is it?
So we went hiking because it was in the summer, springtime.
Yeah.
And I was just like, hey, there's some parks. Let's go hang out and eat after church.
Yeah.
And so we just hiked around and got to know each
Good.
other more. Yeah.
2 years later, you're married.
We're married.
That's fantastic. How long have you been married now?
We just passed 5 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
And do you have any kids?
No kids.
Do you want to have kids?
We do. We're right now just maximizing our time. Yeah. So
good.
Yeah.
How did you end up at Aurora?
Well,
Like, why are you at Harvest? You're still obviously you're married, and she's with you at the same church. I'm assuming.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. So we got married December 18th of 16. We built a house in Kentucky because we thought we were going to live there for the rest of our lives for a good time. We loved it there. We loved the church. We loved the people, loved the city. And Landon McDonald, who was the previous student leader here, we had exchanged emails for years about a few things concerning youth ministry. And a couple of times he reached out and said, hey, like, we have a few positions here. Would you want to come? And I'm like, I just met this awesome girl, not trying to leave her, and we're just not ready. And so he reached out one more time. And so we came and visited in May of 2017. And when we came here, we were just like, yeah, we know.
That's a big move.
It's a very big move.
Like, you grew up in that in kind of Tennessee, Kentucky, that area.
Right.
And you lived there your whole life. And then all of a sudden you're kind of like, well, I'm going to go up with those Northerners, up with the Yankees.
Yeah.
And that would have been an interesting change for you. What did you notice about Chicago when you first came?
It's way colder. Way colder.
Did you come in the winter or in the summer?
We came in the summer.
Okay.
But everybody was telling us to buckle up.
And
It was
they were
hard.
right.
Yeah, they were hard. It's
It's colder.
It's cold.
Okay.
You know.
I do. I haven't actually minded the cold that much so far. So,
Okay.
but people keep telling me, yeah, wait till you have 3 months of it, which I can totally believe.
Yeah.
But you've been here. You started as the youth pastor at Aurora, at our
Correct.
Aurora campus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you were there for how long before? Because you're not the youth pastor there now.
No. So I was in that position for just over 2 years, and then
What was the best part of it?
the students.
Yeah.
Students
about
and the
'em?
families. Yeah, they totally embraced
Was
us.
Aurora a place that you felt comfortable? Was it similar to where you came from? Kind of outskirts of a big city, or?
Yeah, Aurora reminds us a little bit about Kentucky, where we used to live, for sure.
It's the corn.
It's the corn, the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, even where our neighborhood, where we live now and where we lived in Kentucky, it's very similar.
Okay.
Next to corn.
There 2 years,
2
youth
years.
pastoring, and then
And then my previous boss resigned, and me and another pastor at our campus at the time were asked to step up and lead the campus. That's when all the hurt was going on at Harvest.
yeah,
So
and you said yes.
I said yes,
Did you think about saying no?
honestly.
So what made the difference between the yes and no?
We didn't feel released.
Really?
No.
Like in your gut?
Yeah, Melissa and I didn't feel released.
Were you praying about it and stuff? And like, what was going on in your heart? Were you you're feeling? Did you feel sick or something?
No. Honestly, we were just kind of like sheep without a shepherd, you know? Like
Okay.
a lot of people were leaving, and we were just like, we love these people so much. And they welcomed us as strangers from a different area,
Yeah.
and we felt nothing but love, and we wanted to do all we could to be helpful and to maybe help sustain in a time of hurt.
That's good. And so that was in 2019.
Yeah.
So you've been the campus pastor there for the last 2 years, basically through COVID.
Through COVID.
So you're like a COVID campus pastor.
COVID campus pastor.
Okay. What's been the hardest part about being a campus pastor?
The hardest thing about that's a good question.
You can also tell me the best thing. What the thing that's different? You know, youth ministry is is its own beast, right? But and you become a campus pastor, you're kind of responsible for everything else now. I'm assuming it was a good shift for you.
It's a good shift. I mean, I love what I'm doing. I
Yeah.
love being around people and seeing them discipled and raising up new leaders and hearing God work stories all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing to do then in ministry?
Connect with people.
Okay.
I love people. People person.
Okay. Hanging out with them and visiting with them and talking and
Caring, praying, mutual ministry.
okay.
I love that. I love that.
You like preaching?
I do. I wouldn't say it's like the number one gift or strength that God's given me, but
When you get a chance to preach though on weekends, when the guy who normally preaches gives you the week after Christmas or something, you're excited about it?
Yeah.
All right.
excited. Yeah.
What's the hardest part about doing it?
About preaching.
No, about campus pastor.
Campus pastor. It's a really good question, actually. Stick through the seasons that we've gone through. I think the hardest thing is seeing people leave that you've poured your life into love, and it's okay. Like sometimes people need to move on, but it's hard to see people leave.
Leave disgruntled or leave generally?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like even if somebody leaves but they're happy and stuff but they're like, hey, we're just moving on to another time in their life. You just find that really it's hard to.
I do, because I'm such a relationship kind of guy, and
Yeah.
so that's hard.
I bet it is.
And there's things that like organization is not, a strength of mine, and that's more in the day-to-day stuff. But
Yeah. You don't like organizing things.
no, not too much.
People person, you and I've eaten lunch together. It's always one of my more enjoyable lunches. You're a very easy guy to talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy them too.
So I really like the Aurora campus. I think it's a lot of fun down there.
We love having you, man.
Yeah, I know. So a lot of people wouldn't know is that our Aurora campus, in terms of our staff, is the most racially diverse campus out of all of them in our staff.
Probably one of them, yeah.
Right? Because you have an Asian heritage.
Mm-hmm.
You hired a guy who you say exists. His name's Monet. Is that right?
Yeah.
I just think it's weird that you picked out a painter's name. That's you know what I mean? It's like when I asked you, oh, who's the guy that's going to be the youth guy? It's like you looked up you were like, oh, and then you looked up at the wall and you saw Monet. You're like, Monet.
Monet, yeah. That's
Because
how
I didn't see him for the first several weeks. I thought you were lying to me about whether he existed or not.
Right.
But he's a good dude.
He's great.
And he came from the city.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him and his wife, and
he's got a background. He's from Thailand.
I forget where he's from. They're Hmong.
Yeah.
He's from.
Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think somewhere down in Southeast Asia there. So he's there, but then you have other you have other ethnicities on your staff as well.
Yeah. So we have an admin that's Chinese,
Mm-hmm.
And then we have some families that are on staff that are biracial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I mean,
Yeah.
I love going down there and seeing the many colored and cultured people. It's awesome. I
Yeah.
really enjoy it a lot. You like working with this team, though? You have to say yes.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be broadcast, so.
Yeah. I feel obligated to say yes.
I bet you do. What's the best part of working with them?
They love the Lord and they love his church and
Yeah.
they work hard.
Hey, speaking of racial backgrounds and stuff, you're an interesting story in that you grew up in a white home
Mm-hmm.
to white parents, but you have Korean skin
Totally.
and heritage. So, was that ever weird for you?
It was.
When I say weird, you know what I mean? There's a
Yeah.
lot. I mean, it would be. Did you ever have questions about your identity or like that kind of thing, or was it more that you were pretty secure in yourself, but others would say things to you?
It was different. I remember having the epiphany of, oh, I don't look like my parents, and they were always truthful about our story.
Yeah.
But I faced a lot of racism, especially early on, and that was hurtful. And I saw a psychiatrist for 7 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, all through middle school and high school. So
Because of like racial tensions, because people were being racist toward you.
early on in elementary, for sure.
Okay. Was
And
it just the
then-
kids who were pointing things out, or were they using like slurs and things against?
Yeah, both a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
In elementary school?
Elementary school.
Sorry, this fits the horrible stereotype I have in my head about the South. So I'm not trying not to.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a private Christian school, and so
That's even worse.
It was tough. It was tough. Yeah, it's tough. And and then in 5th grade, so all that was going on, and then I was also diagnosed with ADD,
Oh yeah.
and so it was just the perfect storm. And so I ended up flunking out of that private Christian school. The principal said some pretty hurtful things to me and my family, and so that's really the reason why I saw a psychiatrist. But yeah, like it was, adoption stories are awesome because it's a reflection of the gospel, how God adopts us into his family. And what many people don't realize is that adopted families or families that adopt, they go through a lot of struggles too with, like you said, identity and security. And, there's for my brother and I, there's always going to be a little bit of a hole in our heart to, like, why did our parents give us up? Why did my parents decide to, put us up for adoption? Why didn't they want us?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You are such an interesting dude. I mean it. I love it. How old are you now?
36.
36 years old.
Yeah.
You could be president of the. No, you can't. You weren't born here.
I was born here. Yeah.
I was going to say that 35 is the year that you can become president. So,
Yeah.
but apparently you weren't born here, so that's off the table. I don't know what you're going to do now with your future. Hey, I've got a whole bunch. Listen, I'm going to do a lightning round because I'm very interested now. Given all your story, there's a whole bunch of weird, stupid things I want to ask you.
Let's do it.
Now, the best 1990s band.
Oh gosh, my
The best one. Come on.
the best one. Oh gosh, I'm gonna say Incubus because that was my favorite.
Incubus.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long do you still run outside here?
I do.
Where?
Where there's not snow and ice,
Do you run during the winter?
I do. Year-round runner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any other like exercise routines that you do during the year, during the cold seasons?
I do strength and conditioning stuff, but I run.
How much do you bench?
I probably couldn't put up 100 pounds right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much is the most you've ever benched?
Probably around 180.
Liar. Did you whatever you weigh like 120? Stop it. Absolutely stop it. Have you ever not had facial hair as an adult?
I haven't.
You've always had facial hair.
Since college, I've had this
Little chin thing going on there.
chin strap,
All right.
Yeah.
What's the worst facial hair you've had?
mustache.
Oh,
That was
just a mustache.
like a college November
Can you please
thing.
regrow it so I can see it?
Nobody
Do you have
wants
pictures?
Nobody wants that.
I want to see the pictures.
We don't have pictures.
Oh,
I did not grow up with the iPhone, so no one will have those pictures.
you would be magnificent with a mustache.
You would see me like
Oh, wow.
out of my presence. Shave that.
John Bell, you're a delight. Thank you so much for sitting in and talking to me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
The last little bit. I just thank God for his work in your life and all the ways that he's led you to be here and what he's doing with you now. I know that like whenever I go down to the Aurora campus, everybody adores you and thinks you're wonderful. Mm. So I know your feeling for them is the same.
Yeah.
So it's just a delight to have you here as part of Harvest.
Well, thank you. Glad you're here.
You have to say that. Thank you. Thank you very much. For the rest of you, we'll catch you next time. Welcome to season 2.